This is Visitor's Book, and I'm Maija, your host. In this program, we're going to be meeting with diplomats and foreigners who are here in Pakistan, and we're going to find out what they really think about the country. So let's go. So our guest today is Wille Eerola, a global marketer and the Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland. So let's go find him. Hello.
Oh,
hi, Wille.
hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm always good.
Great. So this is a wonderful location. Makes you think of home, right?
Yeah, like a middle Finnish forest.
Exactly. Pine trees and all.
Yeah, actually true.
Yeah. So how many years have you been coming to Pakistan now? I mean, it's been on and off, but when was the first
my
time?
relation started like 2002, 2003. My physical visit, the first one was 2004, 2005.
Okay.
So quite long time, yes.
Right. How did that even happen? Like, somebody asked you to come here, or you just figured like, oh, Pakistan, I want to go there?
This is the absolute number one question everyone asks when I'm talking about Pakistan. And I always, the basic assumption is that you have to have a Pakistani wife.
Right.
I don't.
Okay.
So what had really happened was that I used to work for WBP, which is one of the biggest marketing communications in the world. And then my former colleague from London, Derek, actually called me and he said that, can I give you a phone number to Pakistan? And then 30 minutes after that, I got a call from Pakistan. And it was kind of funny because basically no one has ever called me from Pakistan. That was like a big surprise. And then I got a call and then everything started.
Wow. And I mean, that was, back in the day, that was the time of the war on terror, and everybody was really scared of these countries. Like, where did you have any kind of preconceptions about the country, and how was your first visit?
I think everybody's having these thoughts, but in my case, maybe the funniest part was that I said, I made a promise actually in New York to eventually come to Pakistan, and I told my wife that I will go, and obviously, that's what wives are doing. They are supposed to be worried. So she asked that, is it safe? I said, yes, of course it's safe. It's Karachi. There's not anything more thought in that. So, honestly, like minutes after that phrase, it's all okay. There was a breaking news from Karachi, which was a car bomb.
Oh my God.
And I was thinking, I think my trip was just cancelled by my wife.
Oh my God.
But that kind of created the basic assumption when you land actually Karachi. And that time, this is kind of funny story, but there was only one Norwegian and myself, like two blondes. Yeah. And we were first timers both. And so it started like that, and it was June, so it was very, very hot.
I can imagine.
46 degrees, humidity, like whatever levels.
Like a sauna in Finland.
Yeah, like Swedish sauna, as we say, like a little milder. But still, I got back. Yeah. And for me, the big thing was that I realized that my picture of Pakistan, which was mainly based on the international media, was very, very far away from the reality that actually I faced in Karachi.
Exactly. And then after that first experience, I mean, now you've been coming back so many times that you could say that Pakistan definitely holds a special place for you in your heart.
Yes.
What was the reason? Like, why was Pakistan so fascinating for you that you wanted to come back?
First of all, it was this picture that foreigners we very often have, and then you realize that this is actually very different.
And that makes it so fascinating, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing for me was that the staff at a hotel, obviously there were not so many foreigners at the time, so like in 5 minutes, they all knew me by name.
Right.
And that makes me, this is a pretty good service. That if I walk to the lobby or whatever, so then it was like in a second someone came, Mr. Wille, can I help you with something? So I think that was the literal starting point. And actually it is the same every day. Exactly. Here as well. People are super, super friendly.
Absolutely.
The level of hospitality, like an inbuilt hospitality, not the trained hospitality. It's super, super high.
Exactly.
I think those are the reasons why we both keep becoming and loving this country.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you've been to so many different countries as well. And clearly, like, this is something very special about Pakistan.
Yes, otherwise you would not keep coming.
Exactly. And I mean, you could choose any country in the world where you wanted to keep going, but it ended up being Pakistan.
Yes, but I think that, you know, I have a lot of friends here who keep saying and asking that how you can keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like keep coming and using a lot of your own time, a lot of your own money to help and, you know, build another kind of image. But I think, you know, by the end of the day, we, you know, coming from Finland and a small country, and I think if anything else, we should be, like everyone from Scandinavian region, we should be the ones, you know, looking at countries like Pakistan with a very open mind, and then sharing the message with other people. And I'm sure you know this as well. The best way to promote Pakistan is actually take our Finns fellows to Pakistan, because people don't realize Pakistan if you don't see it. And then every time people come, they're a little bit scared.
Yeah.
And then we have our own strategy with a friend of mine here that we always treat them the same way, taking them to, you know, places that they can actually, you know, enjoy the life and see that Pakistanis are enjoying their life. Yeah.
And like over the years, how many times have you been here now? How frequently do you come?
No idea. I say every time I come, if I meet someone new, they ask, "Is this your first time?" I say, "No,
definitely not." Yeah.
No. Sometimes I've been here like every second week. Sometimes I'm here like a few times a year.
Okay. So it depends.
So it depends a lot, and so I stopped counting.
Yeah.
Years
ago. All right. Well, should we go sit down for a second? Yeah. So, I mean, basically all those years that you kept coming here, what were you actually doing here?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Everything started linked to the marketing communication business. And then eventually from that, I found myself a lot at the stages of the university campuses.
Oh, okay.
That was actually very interesting, because my message then and also right now is that you know, all the wonderful talented Pakistanis in this country, they can actually do whatever they want. Yeah. But sometimes living in a country like Pakistan, you create some kind of barriers around your own thinking. And then you're thinking that, okay, you come from Finland, you can do it whatever you want. We are stuck in Pakistan. And I've been trying to kind of release that kind of thinking. So that was for some years. And then eventually we realized, this was also linked to the very unfortunate closing of the Embassy Finland in Islamabad in 2012, that we have to create something that is helping Finnish companies to understand the Pakistani market, and vice versa, also Pakistani companies to understand what's happening in the Finland and Nordic market. So that's what we started to do basically, 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And that was linked to the fact that there was actually a Finland-Pakistan Business Council.
That existed already.
It was already established in 1985.
Okay.
At that time by one of the biggest corporations of that time in Finland. All the banks, they don't even exist nowadays, but it was there. And the gentleman who was Honorary Consulate General before me, he actually gave one day, he actually gave all the folders to me that, Wille, now it's time to do something.
Yeah.
And so since that, we have been mainly doing that, helping companies to come here. Like this week, I've been hosting a Finnish company here, hosting Finnish companies to Pakistan, understanding what's going on, because as we talk, you know, it's you have to see what's going on. But another thing for Pakistani companies is that traditionally, Pakistani companies think like British market, the UK, sometimes Germany, sometimes France, and so on.
Because Finland is a very small country, right?
But if you think the other way, the Nordic countries, Nordic region, so Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland, that's 26 million people.
Yeah,
but the GDP per head is $40,000 US. So it's a big market, even if we don't have
think
so many
about
people.
it like that, yeah. And you've actually helped organize these business summits as well. I mean, what was the idea behind them, and where did they take place?
The idea, again, becomes from the fact that you have to see Pakistan to understand that.
Yeah, so basically you brought companies here.
It's easy, at least it was easier to set up a bigger event where a group of Finnish companies will come, they can support each other and so on. And so we did first Finland-Pakistan Business Council in 2014, and then 15, and then we expanded to Nordic Pakistan level, mainly because a lot of my friends from Sweden were saying that why you do this only for Finland.
Yeah.
And it worked quite well. Now we have had like a 2 years break, and let's see what we're going to do in the future. But we also took Pakistani companies to Finland.
Okay.
So there was a couple of years ago, there were around 50 Pakistani companies in Finland, first time ever. So that's what I think that even that people keep saying in the business that nowadays we have an internet and you can Google everything what you want. But I think that in doing business, it still requires that you meet people.
Exactly.
And you have some kind of physical connection as well.
And I mean, Pakistan is not a very well-known or well-understood country in Finland. And I'm sure it's been like a bit of a struggle to convince these companies to come here, right?
It is, and my personal motto is that I'm always like over-optimistic, but I never give up.
Okay.
And it has worked quite well. It's like, you're so right. So in the beginning, for example, for the first Finland-Pakistan Business Summit here in Islamabad, I basically had to beg and push and whatever to get the first companies to come. But that was like, if I remember, like 12 companies first time. But then next year it was already doubled, and again doubled. Because especially in a small country like Finland, business people, they do change their views. Yeah. So if someone went to Pakistan, then other people will ask that how was it? Was I very scared to do that and all that kind of stuff? And that's what is needed.
And what do you think? I mean, you've worked in this field for such a long time. What do you think about digitalization in Pakistan? Where is that headed? Is it where it should be?
It's heading to the right direction, but I would tell one story. Like years back, maybe 6-7 years ago, I met a guy. He was a waiter here in Pakistan in one of the hotels. He was 19 years old. And that time he told me that he just bought an iPhone. That time there was no 3G network or anything in this country, so there was no real use for that phone. But he bought the phone because there was a dictionary.
Oh wow!
And every time he went home and came back to work, he was using that dictionary to actually learn English. And then he said to me that he just hopes that the government of Pakistan, actually I think he said President and Prime Minister of Pakistan, would understand that free access to internet should be available to every Pakistani. And I was thinking, wow, that's very interesting. And I asked why. He said, because then everyone in Pakistan would know what's happening in the world and they could learn.
Exactly.
So I think, yes, in what Pakistan would be manufacturing or exporting in the future. Pakistan is right now one of the biggest freelancing countries in the world. We have a huge amount of freelancers. How to use that for the world? You make sure that there's good connections to everyone, electricity is coming all the time, and you have all those tools. Because all the technology in the world nowadays you can buy. It doesn't matter whether you're in Finland or Pakistan or Nigeria or wherever. You have an access to technology, and that makes the world nowadays a wonderful place.
So, it's getting kind of late. Do you want to go get a cup of chai, maybe?
Or coffee, coming from Finland.
Anything.
Good.
Let's do that. We're going to take a short break. I'll see you when we come back. Welcome back. I'm here with Wille Eerola and we've just ordered some coffee.
Wonderful. It's time.
Yeah, let's see if it's as good as Finnish coffee. Okay, so a few years ago, like we mentioned, you became the Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland. How did that happen, actually?
So there has been an Honorary Consul of Pakistan in Finland since 1950. So it's actually 70 years anniversary this year.
Oh, great.
And so the gentleman who was before me, he was actually in that position for 30 years. and then he retired, and then Pakistan was looking for a new one.
Okay.
And I was asked whether I would be interested, and I said that, well, I might be interested, but you will get a very different one.
Right.
Yes, that was my selling point.
Okay, how is that? Like, how are you different from the previous
I
one?
think coming from a marketing communication world, so obviously, traditionally maybe honorary consuls, at least like decades ago, honorary consul generals or honorary consuls were from industry side and so on. But this is a new world.
Yeah, exactly.
Maija, Pakistan.
Yeah. What is your work involved in that sense? What do you do?
So basically, the Embassy of Pakistan for Finland is located in Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I have that position. Yeah. Mainly most of the kind of diplomatic task or work is done by the embassy nowadays because of the digitalized world. But main thing is outside the fact that I have helping companies and so on, there might be a Pakistani having a holiday in Finland, lost the passport.
Right, so
happens
that kind
a lot
of stuff.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Then sometimes there has been some unfortunate cases as well that there has been an accident or something like that, and have to go to the hospital and find out. But this is what honorary consuls are doing in general as well. Okay. I am also the secretary of the consular corps in Finland. So it's basically. Knowing most of the consuls in Finland, it's basically pretty much the similar kind of tasks we have.
Are there a lot of Pakistanis in Finland, actually?
It's always a difficult question. I think the number is like in thousands, but not in 10,000.
Okay, so very small community.
Quite small.
Yeah, okay. And you mentioned the embassy is in Stockholm. I mean, also Finland, like we discussed, doesn't have an embassy here in Pakistan anymore because of the budget cuts in the foreign ministry a few years ago. How much has that impacted your work here? I mean, has it made it more difficult because there's no envoy here?
I think there's two sides. First of all, there's a lot of Finnish companies who are always saying to me that it would be an important thing for us to have an embassy. So it's linked to the fact of which country you're actually going to.
Right.
It's something might happen and you want to go to your own embassy. Even if you might go to Swedish embassy or Norwegian embassy inside our Nordic family, but still, if there's a Finn you can talk with, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then that actually has the embassy was closed in 2012.
Yeah.
So that has a very strong effect of what's happening in Finland. So, for example, Pakistanis who are living in Finland, if they need to get their marriage certificates or any other document legalized, the process goes that you first have to have legalized here, and then it should be legalized by the Finnish mission here, which doesn't exist. So these kind of things, I do hope that the Finnish government would reopen the embassy one day. There has been a lot of gossips and talks about that, but let's hope it will happen in the near future.
Hopefully. And I mean, another thing, that might be difficult for Finnish companies coming here, it is a completely different culture. I mean, couldn't be more different actually. How do you sort of prepare them for the Pakistani experience? What do you tell them about Pakistani culture?
I prepare both sides, actually. So I think one of the major things is definition of time.
Right, I agree.
We know that if you promise to me that you will get back to this tomorrow, and if you didn't do that in 2 days of that, I'm already thinking that you are not interested.
Exactly.
Here it's very different.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tell the Finnish companies that you need to understand to be a little bit more flexible. And for Pakistanis, I always say that you need to follow that time frame.
Yeah.
And another thing is getting meetings done. Here, sometimes I try to get a lot of meetings done before I'm here. Nothing happens. When people know I'm here, then meetings happen in 45 minutes warning time. In Finland, if you want to come for a meeting, next week it's already too late.
Exactly.
Sometimes delegation from Pakistan coming, I'd say to them that, okay, if you decide now, like it's winter time, maybe like late spring might be good. So I think that the timing is really the most typical issue in terms of cultural differences.
How have you yourself learned to navigate these things?
I know very well the both sides.
Yeah.
So, quite well. Sometimes there are things that you keep wondering that why these things are happening in this way.
Yeah.
But then eventually, when you understand the culture and how people think, it's getting easier.
Yeah, and I mean, when you don't expect things to happen like the way we are used to, then it doesn't really matter that much anyway, because somebody tells you 8 o'clock, you already know, no way this is going to happen before 9 or 10.
That's exactly, and I have had funny experiences here as well. That I was attending one course here a year ago, and it was said to all of us, a lot of foreigners, all of us were told that it starts. You have to be at the hotel lobby at 6:30 or 7:30, whatever the time was, and I was the only one.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of friends from other countries as well. So I was actually kind of nominated after the course that I was always the punctual one.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if you say you have to be there 7 o'clock and then something happens 8:30, I would more appreciate that you tell that it starts at 8:30.
Exactly.
Because I could do something else. Maybe I could sleep in the morning.
Exactly. That's the thing. I think in Pakistan, people are more relaxed about time in that sense, but for us, making somebody wait, we tend to get very frustrated.
Yeah, we also might get very angry.
Yes.
But even it's funny that even inside of Europe, we have these differences.
Yes, we do.
If you think
Italy.
Even Finland, Denmark is already different.
Is it?
But Finland, as you say, Italy, Spain, Southern Europe, it's very different.
Yeah, it is.
Little bit actually. I have said so many times there's a lot of similarities between Italy and Pakistan.
That's true, and actually the Italian ambassador, the one who just left, he used to say that Italians are the Pakistanis of Europe and the other way around.
It's a lot of similarities actually.
Yeah, but not so much with Finns.
No.
What do you think? Is there anything that Pakistan has taught you, something that you've kind of changed your perception about in terms of culture or social structures?
I think it's not only Pakistan within South Asia, but I think maybe a little bit more in Pakistan is the role of the family in your life.
Yeah.
Every time it still makes me smile that someone is saying that he's my second cousin or my third cousin. In Finland, how often do you even think who is maybe your cousin, but the second cousin
I don't
very far
even know
away.
my second cousin.
So here the definition of family is so close, and they kind of hold together in different situations.
Yeah.
But again, that was something that also in Finland and Nordic Scandinavia was 100 years ago.
Exactly.
It's just changed and probably will change here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So through your work, obviously you've brought many Finns to Pakistan. Would you say that most of them end up having a similar experience to what you had, that their perception changes completely?
Okay, what is completely, but yes.
Mostly.
Every time we have Finns here, and if we visited hosted by any company or any institution here, I'm trying to explain to the Pakistani host that you can't do too tight program.
Yeah.
And this is for one reason, which is linked to your question, is that when people are coming here first time, you have to let them experience. Then you have to give them free time in the evening that they can actually change they experience with each other. And I have been witnessing that process so many times, that people come here, they are a little bit worried and scared and everything, and then they, even in the first evening having dinner with people, they realize that okay, this is actually quite an interesting country.
Yeah.
And then I think it's linked to the same issues we discussed already, that the hospitality level, the people are very friendly and all that kind of stuff, and it's very much against these kind of stereotype picture you might have inside your head. So then you realize that, okay, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
And that actually makes people to get interested.
Yeah, and do some of them then keep returning, like yourself, or?
Many of ours, and we also keep, bringing the same people back and supporting whatever business activities they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's. I have not heard not a one during the years that who has been with us saying that I will never get back to that country.
Right. So nobody had a horrible experience.
No, there has been some challenging experiences.
I'm sure.
But not
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? Like, do Pakistanis know a lot about Finland? I mean, it's a very small country, very far away. No.
Now, two things: Nokia still, and education.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, I know that many Pakistanis, the snow and cold weather is a horrible thing, but I'm saying to a lot of Pakistanis that yes, you might think that, but you should go to Lapland and northern part of Finland in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Because one thing, you realize how dark it is, and you realize how cold and wintry it is. Even that Pakistan has mountain areas, but it's a little bit different. I think this. I said this in one interview in Pakistan years back. So the basis for any interaction, whether it is business or pleasure, you have to know each other, and part of that is actually you have to understand how the country works. And for any Pakistanis who would like to work with the Finnish companies, I would say that yes, you need to go to Finland and understand and realize things by your own, exactly the same way that I'm taking the Finns to Pakistan.
Yeah, and have the Pakistanis enjoyed Finland when they've gone?
Yeah, it was funny. So exactly a year ago, we had one delegation from Pakistan for skills training, and that was exactly a year ago. And that week, last year, it was a snowstorm for a whole week.
Oh my God!
Even in the southern part of Finland. Now there's no snow, but a year ago there was a lot of snow. And at the same time, there was also a Finnish TV crew following them because they also came to Pakistan to continue the story. And it was so wonderful to see that these Pakistanis, they were actually, for example, seeing how the construction site is used for skilled training for construction professionals. And they were middle of the field, like half a meter of snow, and it was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And even that they enjoyed. I think you have to have experience that you will enjoy.
Exactly. Is there any aspect of Finnish culture or society that you wish that Pakistanis knew more about, or you'd wish to make more well known?
I think, again, from both sides, I think both sides should understand the culture.
Yeah.
Because it also tells a lot how we are. The history of Pakistan, separation from India and all that kind of stuff, and it still has a very strong effect on here. Whereas in Finland, we know that Finland was part of Great Sweden and then part of Tsar Russia and then became independent. And then you can still see that how that actually kind of formulated us.
Exactly.
And so that I think that's to understand the culture and the history in both cases is super, super important.
Great. So, are you hungry?
Oh yes. Thank you. Let's have some to eat.
Let's move inside for some food.
Good.
Great.
Let's go.
We're going to take a short break. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. I'm here with Wille Eerola and we're about to order some food. Are you a fan of Pakistani food?
Yes, I am.
You are?
I am.
It's not too spicy for you?
No, it's not. It's not so spicy. And then, what is Pakistani food?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, what should we go for then?
What is your favorite?
I don't know. I like everything.
I think we might go for some barbecues.
Yeah, sure. Maybe the barbecue platter then.
That's a good idea.
Let's do that.
Have everything.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
But often, like, foreigners have a lot of problems getting used to the spices in Pakistan. Did you have issues with that?
Okay. Not really, because I'm, been traveling around the world, so I have the experience. But then, as I said, what is Pakistani food? Pakistan is a big country and different kind of provinces and regions, and so food is also very different. And taking some food like barbecue from northern part of the country is almost like our barbecue. So like only salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Spices. But food is good. I think the biggest problem globally with Pakistani food is that nobody knows what the Pakistani food is.
Yeah.
And sometimes even the Indian restaurants, like in Finland, are actually owned by the Pakistanis.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 actual Pakistani restaurants in Finland that I know of. Not too many.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the same, for example, in Sweden, Stockholm as well. There's only a few.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know for sure that a lot of Indian restaurants are actually owned by the Pakistanis.
Yeah, because it sells better. People know Indian food.
Yeah, it sells better. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. But for those who don't know, I mean, what is Finnish cuisine like? How would you describe it? I never know how to answer this question myself, by the way.
I have the same problem because we're actually back the same thing I said about Pakistan. So Finland depends
where
if
you
you're on the
go.
coast, like the southwest part of the country or western coast, and it's very same in Sweden. Right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of fish and so on. Then you go to the eastern part of the country, it's very close to that land from some other side of the border in Russia. So you love a lot of stew kind of things. And I don't know. What is the Finnish food?
Yeah.
It depends a lot which part of the country you actually come in.
Absolutely, but I think most Pakistanis would describe it as being very bland.
I have had some Pakistani friends in Finland, and they said that I'm serving them Scandinavian kind of food, and then next day they might say that is there any Pakistani restaurants? And it's because when you're used to have a lot of spices. Exactly. Especially, I would say that the way we. Again, this kind of Scandinavian cuisine on a coastline. So when the way we treat fish, for example, we eat fish as it is. We don't destroy the taste of the fish with tastes.
Yeah, we don't hide it.
No, we have to actually taste what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think anytime soon we'll be seeing a Finnish restaurant in Pakistan.
Well, you never know. The restaurant business is growing rapidly, and at least has been growing rapidly in Pakistan.
Maybe that could be.
And I know that our dear friends in Norway, they are exporting Norwegian salmon to Pakistan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's already there. The salmon is.
Maybe
that's
right. Yeah. Great. But I mean, as we're sitting here with this beautiful view, do you think people know how much natural beauty there is in Pakistan? I mean, right now, in Finland or elsewhere in Scandinavia, like the government is trying to promote tourism. Do you see any potential?
There's huge potential. I just had a chat yesterday with Samina Beg, a famous young woman, a mountain climber from Pakistan, and Lotta Hintsa, a Finnish young woman. And we were talking about this whole thing, that what kind of paradise the northern part of the Pakistan is. It's a mountain climber paradise, but it's also paradise for tourism. So there's no question of that. There's a huge potential in the north, but there also would be huge potential in the south. Yeah. Pakistan has beautiful beaches without any tourism kind of use.
Exactly.
But then we come, especially for the north, we come to the very practical things. How you can get there. You can fly there, but then how you can get from the airport, the roads has to be built now, they are under construction right now. Then you need hotels, and then you need people who actually can serve things and all that kind of stuff. So potential is huge, but certain investment and certain practices has to be there, then tourism will find it.
Absolutely.
I know that the amount of tourists from Finland and Sweden to Pakistan has been increasing rapidly.
Has it?
So especially we talk about young people who they want to have new experiences. But I do trust that the future of Pakistani tourism business will be very good.
Great. Do you think there's any Finnish food products that Pakistanis would be interested in that Finland could actually bring here?
I have had a discussion, for example, with the dairy business in Finland, but you know that so the cleanest, purest milk in the world is in Finland.
Is it? Okay.
And at least one of those top ones. If I remember right, Pakistan is like the third or fourth biggest milk producer. And the reason why the milk is very clean and pure in Finland is obviously all the knowledge linked to farming and also knowledge and technology linked to the production. And so I think that might be something that for like a technology licensing, that doing the things in a better way here. Finland is not very good kind of ready to eat kind of product producer in terms of food sector, but I'm sure that there would be a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's linked to the fact that when the consumption goes up, then people are also looking for new kind of experience in terms of food and so on.
There's the food. Yeah, so another thing that makes Pakistan an easy country to visit is actually the fact that so many people speak perfect English here. Have you ever thought about learning Urdu though?
That's a secret. People always asking that, and I'm never going to tell how much I understand.
Oh,
because
that's smart.
It's good in the meetings.
It is.
And because it happens, the same thing happens in Finland as well.
Exactly.
So when you're foreigners in a meeting, it's always that point. It's a very rude point, but it's always that point that locals start to talk their own language.
Exactly.
And it happens in the meetings here as well. So it's good to understand up to a certain level that whether they're talking about me or something else.
Something else. Oh, that's very cool.
Yes. So the official answer is no.
Officially no, but unofficially, that's the record, yes.
Unfortunately, yes, somewhere.
Is it something that you've like picked up over the years, or did you make an actual effort to learn?
No, it's basically years back. One of the former ambassadors of Pakistan, he was in Sweden and Germany and so on. So I used to spend a lot of time with him here in Islamabad, sitting in the backseat of a car, going dinners or something like that. And he always spoke on the phone all the time.
Right.
So that was my teaching that I've listened to her. And then another good thing is that a lot of Pakistanis have that good or bad habit to have a lot of English in the language.
They keep changing.
So even that you don't understand all the Urdu or Pashto or whatever, they have a lot of English in between, so it's kind of easy to follow. For example, watching any talk shows in a Pakistani TV, it's actually quite simple to follow what they're talking about.
It is, absolutely. So let's dig in.
All right, that's
I know you're hungry, so.
Yes.
How much have you actually gotten to travel around the country yourself? I mean, you've obviously been to most of the big cities, but beyond that?
I've been almost everywhere. So my journey with Pakistan started in Karachi, and then Islamabad, and Lahore, Abbottabad, Kwadar, Peshawar.
Oh my God.
Actually, the only place I have not been, I've been invited many times to like far north.
Okay.
Like northern parts of the KP and Gilgit-Baltistan. So that's still on the bucket list.
Yeah, maybe next time you'll have time to do it. It does require planning though.
I know.
Going there, yeah.
But that's a challenge with me. I never plan.
Yeah.
I plan in 24 hours.
Wow, you've become so Pakistani.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Actually, you asked earlier what the culture-based issues. Maybe this is actually, I don't know, maybe it's a bad or good thing. Maybe I've actually become Pakistani. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed the same thing with me as well. Like, I've become more spontaneous since I've lived here. And you have your Pakistani friends and they might just call you up there like, okay, I'm there in 5 minutes to pick you up, let's go. This would never happen in Finland.
The worst thing you could do, actually.
Exactly.
Stand behind your door.
Yep. Oh my God.
Oh, that's a very good point.
So yeah, this does not happen in Finland, but I've actually started to like it.
Well, if you would move back to Finland, you would not like it after a couple of weeks. Maybe.
That might be.
Maybe, I think it's so much linked to culture around you.
It's true. But yeah, I mean, while we were on the topic of where you've traveled, do you have any particular favorite places in Pakistan that you always love returning to?
It's interesting. We start with the cities. Every city has its own good and bad things.
Yeah.
I do love the kind of the big city, metropole kind of city bite, a bit of the Karachi, but at the same time we all know Karachi is a huge city.
Exactly.
But it has that downside as well. Lahore, I love the touch of culture you can see everywhere in food and everything else. But then it's always so peaceful to come back to Islamabad.
Exactly.
And you know, first time ever I was in Lahore, I was shocked with the fact that you have millions or zillions of motorcycles around you when you're sitting in a car.
Yeah.
Then you get used to that, and you actually realize that you get used to that. But still, you know, Karachi and Lahore, there's so much traffic. You come to Islamabad, it's like a big park. Everything is calm.
Exactly.
But it's now years when I was in Abbottabad last time. That one of the universities there I used to visit. I still remember that beauty of that campus area up there, you know, on the mountains, and you have wonderful garden and everything. I remember I was speaking there once. I was thinking that if I would have been a student in this campus when I was young, I would not ever graduate because I would concentrate on something else. So there's a lot of beautiful places in this country. It's super, super beautiful. And just a couple of months ago, we were in a meeting in Karachi with one of the high towers, and we were waiting that the meeting starts, and we took a look down from the windows to the beach, and there was a camel.
Oh, wow.
So someone with a camel. I was thinking, okay, maybe this is another picture that people do not understand, that you have a wonderful high tower with wonderful offices, it's actually next to the beach where someone is hanging around with a camel.
Exactly, and that's something that makes Pakistan really fascinating for me, like the combination of these two things.
It is. Sometimes it's combination that it's very close to be a hassle, but still there's a combination of interesting things.
Exactly. And I mean, now that you mentioned visiting universities, you've obviously gotten to interact a lot with the youth of Pakistan. Yes. What do you think, what do you think about the future of Pakistan in terms of the youth? Where do you see most potential for them?
Especially in two areas, especially nowadays, you know, everybody's talking about technology and artificial intelligence and all that kind of stuff. For countries in Pakistan, countries like Pakistan and Pakistani youth, that field of technology is something that they can be kind of on the same line with anyone else in the world, thanks of things we talked earlier, like, you know, basically thanks of the internet, so you have access to everything. Another thing is creativity. Last year I was talking, one of the speakers at Asia, when advertising agency business came back to Lahore after 30 years, international agency business. And after that, we've been actually trying to find how we would support the creativity the Pakistani youth has on a maximum level. And maybe 30 years ago, that creativity might have been taken to advertising business and marketing business and so on. But nowadays, at the same time, you have the technology-oriented youth, and then this creativity-oriented youth. If you can actually find a way to put this together, you would actually probably Pakistan might be the number one in terms of technology-driven creativity in the whole South Asia, maybe the whole Asia. This is something I've been trying to support as much as possible just recently. Yeah. So this is a very new one, but this is an area, two areas where I see wonderful future for Pakistan.
Okay, so now it's time for our rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Okay, you didn't warn me about this.
Okay, let's start. Shalwar kameez or suit?
Suit.
Okay. Lahore or Karachi?
Oh, no. If I say Lahore, all my friends in Karachi will be mad with me. So I would say both.
Okay, that's fine. Scandinavia or South Asia?
hard questions you have. I would say that the perfect world of combination of best of both regions.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
I would move there if that country existed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, Helsinki or Islamabad?
Islamabad.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yes.
Although maybe in summer, Helsinki.
Yeah, that's another one.
Ice hockey or cricket?
Okay, sorry friends, but ice hockey.
Oh, I agree. The lakes of Finland or Pakistani mountains?
Actually, lakes of Finland are also on the Pakistani mountains. I would say Pakistani mountains.
Oh, very good. Karelian pie or samosas?
Samosas.
Yeah, they taste better.
Yeah.
The first thought that comes to your mind when I say Lahore Fort?
Food.
Food?
Yes,
Okay.
because there's a lot of restaurants around that.
That's true. Truck art.
We have been trying to actually take that to around the world. It's very interesting.
True. Islamabad.
Friends.
The best thing about Pakistan.
People.
Great. Okay, now it's time for you to sign our visitor's book.
Oh, thank you. Here you go.
Okay, let's see what you wrote. Best of Pakistan, people. Best of Finland, people. These together, paradise. I agree. Thank you so much, Wille. I had a great time today with you, and I hope you continue coming back to Pakistan for many years.
I will, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. That's it for today. Please join me again next week, and don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts at indus.news. Goodbye.